Welcome everybody to another CTC software webinar. Today we are going to be talking about our template manager. And we're going to do a kind of a brief overview of it, show you some of its functionality, and hopefully you'll find some of that useful. There will be more detailed webinars on it in the future. My name is Tony Crick. I am the Civil Product Manager here at CTC Software. And as always, this webinar will be recorded to our YouTube channel and available shortly after the broadcast. If you have any questions as we go along here, please feel free to put them in the question panel. If you are watching this on our YouTube channel, enter your questions in the comments and we will get back to you. During the broadcast, we'll get to them at the end of the broadcast here. So with that, let's get started. So we all know the management of Civil 3D description keys and figure databases in their native interfaces can be clumsy and slow. Survey Template Manager will automate the creation and updating of all description keys and survey figures to and from spreadsheet files. Then these spreadsheet files can be exported with all the settings from an existing template or created from scratch using a provided sample. And then we can use those going forward to help manage and keep our templates up to date. So Survey Template Manager, it's part of our CIM Manager Suite of tools. It is intended for CAD managers or Civil 3D users supporting a production team. And it will, our latest version we just released is 26.1. So if you don't have that, I highly recommend that you go get it. And our tools are available in Civil 3D all the way back to 2022. So today we're going to show you how you can manage your description keys with greater efficiency, how you can edit and organize the Figure Prefix Databases, and then that way we can help to standardize our survey templates across our projects. And then that will reduce the manual editing in our survey workflows. Civil 3D or Survey Template Manager in Civil 3D has its advantages in that natively the survey codes have a ripple effect. So if you don't have good standards, you're going to have problems down the road. And the interfaces are slow to work with for description keys and figure databases. And we know most of you have probably done this. It's very tedious, line by line. And Civil 3D just doesn't support it very well. And in addition to that, there's no way to import it into other drawings. But with Survey Template Manager, we can manage our description keys and figure databases in Excel spreadsheets. And we can sync or add from Excel spreadsheets and style selection from available Civil 3D tool spaces. And the Smart Excel imports will show us what's changing. And that way we can change and maintain our spreadsheets for specialized templates. You could have different figure databases, for instance, for different clients with different coding. And we could edit our spreadsheets to maintain consistency. And the Survey Template Manager will identify those inconsistencies before there's a problem in the report when we import them. And as always, with all of our tools, we have no proprietary settings, so you can freely share those in any CD or Civil 3D drawing or with others using Civil 3D. And it will help us clean up our templates and then thereby creating consistent templates and speed up production for all of your users. So with that, let's get into the live demo. open up a Civil 3D drawing here. So I have a Civil 3D drawing here that is blank. If you were starting from scratch and you didn't have one, if you had something like this where you had some stuff in here and you had description keys, you could export that and get started from there. I'm going to show you quickly how we would do it if we had something blank. So in this one, we have just a couple of point styles, and I'll show you why that's there in a second. Description key sets. Whoops. Let me delete that one. So description key sets, we have none. Our layering, we have nothing in here for layers, and we can create all of that as we go. Now, if you were doing this from scratch, you could use some of our other tools, such as Layer Boss. If you had consistent layering across your organization with layers, you might put something like this out there. This is just a brief little layer for surveys that I put out there, and you could bring that in. You could certainly bring that in very easily to populate your layers, and then they would be available. But if you didn't, you could start from scratch. Most of you probably have stuff, and that would be my recommendation that way. But if you needed to, you can. And then at any time while we're doing this, we can edit those styles. So the editing will be very similar to what I'm going to show you today. So if you didn't have anything, as we don't here, we have this sample file. So some of the things we need for the sample file is you have to have some blocks in here. If you're going to use blocks for your point styles, such as this, so you'd have to have some blocks in there. So that's obviously the wrong block for that. And I think we can change that even. So you have to have some blocks in there. That's really all you need if you're going to use those. You can certainly create the styles and add the blocks later if you needed to. But this is how you would get started. So we'd open the sample file. Now when I open this, it's going to want me to save it somewhere. So I'm just going to, I'm just going to leave it at that right now, just to show you what's in there, what you get. So you get something like this. So we have all these things that are populated. And we have, if you have point styles, they would be here. I only have a couple. And what I said about the blocks, to choose them to assign those to point styles, you would need those here. So that's why they're important to have there. It's going to take any that are available in your drawing that you export from. So the first thing I would do is I would start with something blank, and I would maybe use Design Center or something else. We could use Template Tracker as well to bring in some blocks. So a number of ways to do it, but they need to be in here. So I'm going to close this without saving because I've got this one set up to go. So most of you would probably have a code list similar to this. So if you were starting from scratch, you probably have codes just like this. And all I did with this one is I just copied that code set into this form. And I can have as many tabs across here as I desire. If I had different information in a bunch of these, I could do that. Because it's only going to, when it brings it in, it's only going to read this. Okay, your description keys is all it's going to read. So if I do that and I want to populate that with these, I could simply just do a copy. Just highlight it, work right in Excel. Yeah, I'll grab them all. So I just copy these And if I paste them into here, and you see I've got the wildcard in there for this one. So for this one, I built a formula into here that's going to take all those. So simply if I just drag this down, I'll get all those asterisks. Okay, so that's pretty simple, easy way to do it. So now if I want to start building point styles from here, I can pull from there if I have one. If I don't, if I wanted to have a top back curb or CTC, it's going to tell me that it doesn't match the data, and that's fine. And the block name, don't need a block for that one. My point label style. So I've got a number, elevation, description. I could make one that's just elevation. Let's just say. Oh, why did I take that? Let me try that again. Okay, well, we'll use that one for today. And then we can format these however we want using our typical formatting and then layering. So I don't have any layers in here. Okay, so I can start to put those in as well. Okay, so I can hand enter those. Let's do some more here. And then let's go to, as we're going through here, let's go to this one because the point style is not assigned to it yet. So I'll assign a point style to it. And I'll give it this block name and the label style. Again, I'll pick that one. And then the layer, let's make another layer. Okay, and then I can start to fill out the rest of these if I want to. So let's make a couple more. Block, I don't need a block for that one. Let's just pick standard for that. I'm gonna put standard on that one too. Oops. So standard for that one. And we could do that all the way down here. Let's make one more for this one. For control point. Okay. And I do have one there. So you can see how we can quickly and easily do that. I could also come in here and I could start to create layering over here if I wanted to. If I want to do my prefixes, suffix, oops. Suffix, and then I could start to do these the way I wanted. So if I wanted to put this on water, for instance, and then go on down. So if I wanted all these to be V, water, or V for survey, then I could start to do these. So call that one conch, call this one bit. Call that soil boring, and so on. Okay. So then if I just come in here and I built this as a formula, I could start to get those to populate. So if I did that, with that, and that, so now they're going to start to populate. So now I could carry this on like this, and I could copy these over into here. Oops, I did something wrong. But I could copy those into there and make those populate. Not sure what I did wrong there, but we can copy those in too. So you can carry these along like this and keep this as sort of your base. So what happens when we do this? Okay, so we know that we didn't have layers in here, and some of those point styles were not available. So I'm going to hit the save here. And then I can come back here, and now this is where I get them from. So now that I have one, I have this guy right here, CTC description, code set, and I want to create new point styles and layers. And if I hit next, this is what we were talking about, where you can see what's different, what's being added. So I'm going to get new codes for these, point styles that don't exist, and layers that don't exist. And they'll start to populate. So I say, okay, going to create a total of 47 new codes. So all these codes will be in there. And I'll get some new layers as well. Oops. So if I come and look over here, now I have my layers. If I come back to my tool space, now we can see we've got, for instance, this control point as a new point. So when it comes with the block that we assign to it, and we have some new, oops, we don't have new label. I didn't make any new ones. So it populates to there just that quickly. So then if we wanted to export those to another spreadsheet, we could do that here and start to save those out. Also, if we wanted to add these layers using Layer Boss, so I've got a bunch of different ones here, that if I wanted to add those, we could use Layer Boss. So we can use all of our tools together. So if I come and I import those layers into here using Layer Boss, here it is. Can open that in the current. I'm going to sync those, and I get a similar report. So I've got a plot style is missing here, so I'd have to fix that in my Excel spreadsheet. I'll just make it normal to show you how that works. Save that, and then hit the reload. And now we can take it, and we'll see all these layers start to populate. So I could have that right there if I wanted to use these tools together. So the figure database really is the same methodology. Again, I have some figure databases to choose from in here. So I could export those and start to work on those if I wanted. And I'll do that in a second here. But if I didn't and I was starting from scratch, I would do the same thing. So we have the open, the sample file is here. And I'm just going to leave the default name to show you. And we see it's populated the same. Let me close that one. So we have the same type of thing going here. So we can assign these to break lines, and we can do the same thing with our code sets and start to pop those in there to get them from here. If I wanted to get them from here, I could again put those into the spreadsheet and start to pull from those. I could just do a simple copy and paste them in here. So pretty easy way to start to populate your figure database as well. So any styles you want to assign to it, sites, and so on. So it works pretty much the same way. So to bring that in, I can just go get it from right here. So I've got a couple of pre-made if I had some templates already created that I wanted to pull those in from. So I've got this one right here, the CTC Figure Database. Now I want to create all this new, and I want to create a new figure database. Okay, so if I want to have different ones in here, I see what I'm going to get again. So I say okay. And it's going to create this database right here, CTC Figure Database, from the name of the file that I had created. So now if I come back over here and look at my survey tab, I see it's right here. And if I look at it, everything is there, populated, ready to use. So if I wanted to edit one of these, I didn't have that there, I could export one of these. So let me export a figure database to show you the export function and how you can edit those as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab that one. First, let's look at that real quick. See, so these two are slightly different. Okay, if I look at this one, it contains all of those database codes. This one has that one. So let me do that again. I'll kick out the demo one. So it doesn't have to be, as you saw, the active database. To kick those out. So if I export the database, It's going to give me the name that it is. Okay, I can name it whatever I want at this point. I'm going to leave it named that just to get in there, and then I'm going to have it open it right away. So here's everything that's populated. So with that, every drawing layer that is available in my drawing becomes available here now. Okay, and then I can bring that into this drawing and it will start to update. So if I want to add some things to them, if I want to merge two of these, I could do that as well. Simple Excel stuff. Let me minimize those. Let's go to another drawing. If I want to compare one of these databases to this, I could see what the difference is. So if I have a drawing like this and I needed to change what the database, what these things were, for instance, for another outside entity or some other client, and I want to bring that in, I could bring in this one that we just made, and it's going to show me what all is different. So I can update this to the new. I can even create a whole nother new database again. So I'm going to have it update this one. Actually, let's do that one. Let's do that one. And I'm going to sync and I'm going to create new figure line styles at the same time. So I'll hit next. So here's my difference. So I know what's different here. So the style is going to be updated for these existing ones. I'm going to update some layering for some of these other codes. It's going to delete ones I don't want because I said to sync it. So if I back up, I don't want those deleted. Let me back up one. So I got to go get it again. Which one was it? I think it was this one, right? Yeah, let's do that one. Okay. Next. Oops. So I didn't check that. But just to show you now, none of those will be deleted. Nothing has changed. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's how we would do that. So if I'm merging these two, then I can add one database to another one. I'll do that one more time. Which one was it? That one? Didn't name those very well. Let's put it in this one. Next. And so on. So I have it open so it won't go. So really, I just wanted to show you a little bit about that. I should touch, if you haven't seen our tools before, they all are the same. The layout up here is our options. We can remember the size and the position. And I mentioned before, we're on 26.1 right now. To do that, you hit the About, and it shows you right here. If you don't have it, you can simply click this. It will take you to our website to go get it. I highly recommend doing that. There have been a number of changes to things in the past couple of releases. So if you're older than 26, I recommend that you would go get that. Oops. So with that, that's all I had to show today. And as I mentioned before, it's part of our CIM Manager Suite of tools. We also have our Project Suite of tools, intended more for everyday Civil 3D users. If you don't have it, we'd be happy to help you out. You can contact us here at ctcsoftware.com. And as always, if you have any ideas or need any help, please let us know. Contact us here at support. Our tools are built for you from suggestions from you to help you do your jobs more efficiently. So with that, thank you for joining us here today. And I hope to see you at the next webinar.